All right, so even calculating that with a calculator like my trusty TI-84 is a bit of a pain in the butt because getting to that combinations formula requires some work. I'm sure you could watch that if you wanted to in the video up above. But in reality, statistical software makes this calculation a heck of a lot easier. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you this in StatCrunch and then without StatCrunch, so you have multiple ways to do this. We are working with a particular distribution. And so I'm trying to remember where I go. Oh, yeah. So stat and calculators. And then you can see there are a lot more probability distributions than the ones we're going to talk about in this class. This section, we are talking about the binomial. There is another pretty straightforward discrete called the geometric that you see in like statistics AP Stats class, but we're only going to do the binomial as our special discrete situation, and then we'll see normal in the next unit. But we're just going to open this binomial calculator and see what we got. So first thing it asks for is what is our n? So we translated that, it's 15. And then what is our probability of success? That's our 0.75. And really, once you have n and p, you know everything there is to know about a binomial distribution, and you can find anything you want to find. You'll see here, we could even say what is a probability, and it has all these options. I can do a less than or equal to, a greater than or equal to, a less than, a greater than, or an equal to. So the question we have is an equal to, and it is equal to 6. And if I press compute, there is the answer that we just saw done with the formula. So this is how easy these things are in StatCrunch. I really like StatCrunch too because it highlights the outcome that you are interested in, which sort of gives us this check of like, oh right, yeah, that is what I mean by equals 6. Not as useful in a equals, right, one of these exact situations, but very useful when we get into like at most 3. I think it's easier for us to visualize what at most 3 is when we can see it here. Another alternative, though, right, if you're somewhere later and you don't have access to StatCrunch, is you can just type in something like oh, you can't see what binomial distribution calculator into Google. And you'll find a ton of them. It really, like, you just scroll, any of these will probably be good. I'm going to use the StatTrack one. It's one I've used before. Ask for the same thing. What's the probability of success on a single trial? How many trials are you doing? And what success do we care about? So in this case, 6. And if you press calculate here, it gives you every possibility that we saw in StatCrunch. Now, again, there's no visual here to let us know which one we're looking at. And having all 5, I think, leads students to accidentally grabbing the wrong one. But still, pretty powerful. And we get to avoid that gnarly looking formula we just saw. So yeah, that's using technology to find your binomial probabilities.